So I said I was going to make another talk video just to knock this out the way, but finally got around to doing it. Since I am waiting for it to warm up, it's a little bit cold this morning, so I really can't do nothing until it starts to warm up a bit. So, for those of y'all watching, I am Mississippi Gonzo Grunge, aka Rip Breadcorn. How are y'all doing? So, yeah. Another talk video where I talk about other stuff, like what I plan on doing, in 2026 and all that. So, yeah, if you're wondering what this game is, it is MudRunner. It was on sale, so I grabbed it. No skin off my bones. And this footage will be used again in another video, sort of say, because I was playing the challenges. So I will probably excuse me. I'm still a little bit tired this morning, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, there is that. So I do plan on doing a little bit more of that, but I'll get into all the other stuff soon enough. But yeah, this is also going to be footage that I do use, and I was doing all the challenges, so I'm going to upload both of those separately. Such as it is. Been a while since I played MudRunner. It's actually fun. It's such a shame what happened to spin tires and that whole debacle, if any of y'all remember that. But for those of y'all that don't, Uvi got a little bit sideways, and they, it was just a bunch of nonsense. It was a big controversy. Not big enough it got reported on, but it should have been, because it was just dirty how that game was done, especially towards the developer. So I figured I'd get into talking about content that I'm doing. Because, I do plan on doing more, videos like this, but also, IRL content, finally. I'm finally doing IRL content after all this time because I wanted to, knock that out of the way for the longest time. And yeah, VR is still coming, so I still got to do a lot of that and that sort of thing. But when it comes down to the talk videos, I do plan on talking about more heavier topics. I sure hope it warms up. I sure hope it warms up enough that I can actually, continue my work that I'm doing. So yeah, mostly I've been clearing back this old feed plot that we had. So I figured, why not just clear it back? The stumps are going to be the fun part to get rid of. But I figured, I might as well go back and finish that some other time. I'm pretty sure I could, use a sharpshooter and get them out. And for those of y'all that don't know what a sharpshooter is, well, it's a type of shovel. So, there's that. So, I still have to do all that stuff. But I have gotten it cleared back just enough. I'm almost to where the feed plot ends, which is, if you look on that post I made, it was where those fence posts stood at. But, such as it is. But, yeah. Talking content will actually end up coming soon enough. Because I do intend on finishing it. But also knocking it out the way, because, why not? Because, finding talking content, it's easy enough, but it's also, all the fun stuff that comes with it. Like trying to, find topics to talk about, which I've gotten plenty so far. But yeah, I will also probably be streaming again sometime. Probably a few erratic surprise streams, just so that way I can have something to keep people entertained. And that much, because I did get finished with the that week-long stream of Rip Redcorn, so there is that. And yeah, and for any women that's watching this, yeah, I do plan on doing more Rip Redcorn ASMR stuff. Because why not? It's what I plan on doing anyway. Just to knock that out the way. I really need to get around to recording more Rip Redcorn ASMR audios. Because why not? I do have female subscribers, so I figured why not give them some entertainment. You know, and all that. But, yeah, IRL content is actually coming. Because I ended up finding a GoPro that was on sale. Which is what I really wanted to do. I really wanted to get into the whole fishing content and all that. So, yeah. IRL fishing content. It's what I plan on doing anyway. Yeah. I also need to get that other fishing game I have set up. And I do have a bunch of PS2 stuff I can record for the time being because I kind of want to get other content recorded and knocked out of the way. One of those being, you know, all the other PS2 stuff, which, by the way, Ford Racing 3 no longer works. I have to go get another disc. So I'll probably start doing Ford Racing 2 stuff in the time being. Hasn't been easy. So, yeah, I'm going to jump on over to Ford Racing 2 and do some of that. And Super Trucks Racing, I will probably also finish up. You know, just the individual championship races, just to knock that out the way. And I still have to do all the Dukes of Hazzard, hard mode, long plays. Which, you know, that was something that, you know, people voted on. It's like, hey, you want to see this live or do you want to see this, you know, long play it out? And they're like, oh yeah, just long play it and, you know, live stream, you know, Return to the General Lee on hard mode. So there is that. I haven't gotten around to playing those games on hard mode yet, but I should soon enough. Now, I did end up getting the Hitman games as of recent. And by which ones, I'm talking about the good ones from the PS2. Contracts, Silent Assassin, and Blood Money, which are by far my favorites. And I do have Tomb Raider. You know, the Crystal Dynamic Tomb Raiders, not the new ones. I couldn't get behind the new ones. I thought they were trash, you know, such as it was. Some people don't view it as such, but, you know, it's whatever at this point. And what is that racket? Well, there's just something else I gotta fix, but, you know, whatever. I also need to get around to recording some more ATS longer videos because, why not? Because, hey, y'all seem to like ATS and Farming Sim and whatever else I put out, so there is that. But also, I figured I'd go ahead and ask how y'all have been doing. You know, on my end, yeah, I'm a little bit tired, but, you know, that's just what comes with doing, self-employed work after all this time. Which, that was kind of my biggest complaint back in the day, was actually trying to find a job, and, you know, it's like, oh, here's all these job hirings, and yet nobody's hiring. Which, to me, made no sense. It's like, you got a job application, you know, you got a now hiring up in the window, but you don't want to hire nobody. Which, to me, that just led me to believe y'all just looking for whatever crackhead comes off the street that you can hire, because you know he's going to be gone by the end of the month, or they are, I don't know. You know, let's not assume. We might as well just say, yeah, whatever crackhead walks off the street. That seems to be the case in a lot of towns down south. It's like, yeah, the crackhead be gone in the month, but we don't care. I just think that's just a way for people to get past paying benefits and all that. It's either that or they'll just be like, okay, here's 90 days. Yeah, we got this 90-day probationary period. Then at the end of the 90 days, they kick you out of it, so that's kind of a self-defeating thing in and of itself. So, it always leads into other nonsense like that, where you have this whole, job hunt dilemma. So, yeah, it's quite ridiculous. But, enough about the whole job thing. I could really go into a whole detail about job hunting and all that. However, I'm not job hunting. I decided to go self-employed, and, it pays decent, for what it is. But, hey, at least it's something. There's some kind of an income. I can't complain about it. It's all kinds of other stuff, too. But, people want to do that type of nonsense. And I'll probably go into more details about that later. It's like, but this and that, and it's like, no, this ain't the. You mostly hear it from older generations of people. Well, but you just need to do this, and it's like, it's not the days of Ronald Reagan anymore. Everything's changed. The days of doing what you did doesn't work today. Which I really don't blame people for turning that advice down, because A, it hasn't been updated. For one, you can't really reason with somebody that's still stuck in the past. And that just really applies to everyday life. Regardless if you're dealing with an older generation or even somebody like now, that they're still stuck in the past, and it's like, dude, let that shit go. The glory days are gone. Or, it's really more of a trauma response, to some other, some people, it's the whole trauma thing, that they can't let that nonsense go, and it's like, dude, let that go. It doesn't help you at all. But, you tell them to do that, you just act like you just told them to go cut their mama's foot off. So, it's just kind of ridiculous at this point, with how everything's been going. On my end, it is going decent, because I'm probably going to wrap this up here shortly, because, I got to knock it out the way. Off-road reviews, I did move towards Saturday, because, that's because, there's really nothing going on Saturday. And the off-road review, even though it still barely pulls in views, it's still just like my little pet project that I've been doing since that period. So, yeah. So I really don't, get all the other stuff too. Some people don't. I don't either. Most people don't even dare touch GTA off-road content anymore. I still do it because, it's just something that I've done since 2014. Ever since GTA 5 came out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Which I'll probably get either one of those consoles soon, because I need to do some content with that, because there's games that come out for that, but not the other. There's quite a few old games that I would love to play again, because they were my favorite. There was this one shooter that I remember, it was really supposed to be the next big thing, but it never went anywhere. I enjoyed it. It was called Brink. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but it was kind of like my thing. Brink was more of my thing, but it never really went anywhere, which is such a shame, because the gameplay was actually fun. And of course there's other games like Driver, San Francisco, and Bully Scholarship Edition, which I'll probably get for the Xbox 360. Because I do plan on streaming Bully for the PS2, but also the Scholarship Edition much later. Yeah, according to most people, don't get Scholarship for the PC. It's garbage, which I tend to agree with that. Because Rockstar won't stop the game from crashing unless somebody on a mod forum somewhere fixed the crashes. Ugh, excuse me. So, yeah. Just a little bit of a short talk video about what I'm planning on doing for for this year. So, yeah. Just a little bit of a talk video of what I plan on doing this year, with you know, all that other stuff, you know, like GTA and all that. But yeah, I really need to do another keeping it real while I'm at it, but you know, such as it is. But yeah, whole lot of stuff's going to be happening this year. Hopefully, if I can get all this stuff knocked out by, you know, Saturday, where I can get most of this cleared back, I'll have some time to stream. So, yeah. So, other than that, it's starting to warm up. I'll be seeing y'all around. Now then, I want to hear your thoughts, so, you know, please do comment. You know, I want to hear your thoughts, you know, any games you want to see me play. You know, I don't care if it's a simulator or not. So, yeah, I do plan on doing more simulator stuff, too, especially with flight sims and all that. So, I'll see y'all around. Now then, be sure to like the video and all that jazz, and do comment, because likes and comments do help out. You know, if you want to share these videos around, be my guest. You know, especially some of the older especially some of my older content. You know, I do have Let's Plays on this channel back when I first started. You know, because, you know, I wasn't able to stream yet. So, yeah, I'll be seeing y'all around. Now then, y'all take care of yourselves. Have a great day and a ball weekend. Don't do anything stupid. Be sure to smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell icon, because I do live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully, by after this video is over, said and done with, I'll have free streaming time again. So, y'all take care of yourselves. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your week.